What's up, y'all? Denny Hamlin has had an incredible career and is part of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers in 75 years of the sport. Denny Hamlin was named as a member of this special list. And as expected, as a driver of this list, his results year in and year out are always above the general results of his competition. Denny has had an incredibly consistent career as a top driver. While not having won the grand prize of a championship, he's done everything outside of that accomplishment. But almost more incredible than his 48 Cup Series wins and top performance throughout his career is that he's only had one bad season in his whole career. But that season isn't what this video is about. 2013 was an injury-shortened season that Denny just wasn't able to salvage. But his 2018 season, that was completely different. Denny Hamlin's 2018 season wasn't a terrible season, but in nearly every possible way, Denny Hamlin had his most disappointing season of his career, that 2018 season. What's most interesting about Denny's 2018 season review is that it nearly, or could have, started off immediately as a regular and meeting expectations season right off the bat. Denny very well could have been the Daytona 500 champion, and then the next week at Atlanta, he ran well and may have possibly won the race if Kevin Harvick hadn't Harvicked his way to a dominant win that week.
Shot. Now Paul Menard just tried to make a move on Buescher. That's going to hurt Denny Hamlin. He's got no pusher.
And Eric Almirola, who had a bad crash, Kansas last year, missed 6 races. That's when Bubba Wallace got his chance to drive the 43. Almirola moved on at the end of the season to Stewart-Haas Racing, and he is a lap away from the checkered flag in the Daytona 500.
Well, he did what his crew chief told him. You got the lead. Hang on to it.
Yeah, he's just got to keep those two side by side behind him. Keep working those lanes. I like the inside lane in the corner, the outside lane on the straightaways. It's going to be a big push coming on the top lane.
Both of them. Moving to the same both lanes.
Boy, this is going to take
to the top lane.
Going to have to be quick. Going to have to be quick.
Almirola up to cover. Dillon, where will he go?
Going to get there.
Oh, into Almirola. Around he goes.
Good
Hang on to it, bud. Hang on to it.
And here it comes with the number 3, 20 years ago. 20 years of trying for Earnhardt. He won the Daytona 500. Austin Dillon. So Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano on one agenda, and maybe now 2, Chase Elliott, who is in 4th and did not stop with the rest of the leaders around lap 252. Elliott's finished top 10 in. Thanks, Jamie. Now there's Kevin Harvick on fresher tires going past Joey Logano, who, like Denny Hamlin, is on pace, trying to run the rest of this race with one less pit stop than the others.
If Denny Hamlin wins this race, I'm going to be so impressed with what Mike Wheeler, the plan that he has and that team, and also the pace that Denny Hamlin has run.
Quick Trip 500.
Good job, Connor.
Hallelujah. What a relief. Awesome job. Awesome job, guys. What a race car. Last 5 years.
Denny Hamlin has talked a few times about being comparable to his teammates. On his new podcast, Actions Detrimental, he explains for teammates at a top team like JGR, the car and the engines are essentially the same. So the difference is obviously left on the driver. And his comparison to his teammates in 2018 was disappointing to him because Kyle Busch was winning what he said felt like every other week in the same equipment. As Kyle's stats were extremely impressive, any teammate could find themselves feeling like a weak link in comparison to Kyle. Kyle Busch finished his 2018 season with 8 wins, 22 top 5s, 28 top 10s, 1,469 laps led, en route to a Championship 4 appearance. Those stats compared to what some drivers would consider an acceptable season. Now compared to Denny Hamlin's stats of 10 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and 380 laps led, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Denny Hamlin expects to be a number 1 or a 1A driver at his team. But here are the stats on the JGR number 1 for each week. JGR's 2018 lineup consisted of sophomore driver Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez, paired with veterans Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. With this lineup, you'd expect Kyle and Denny to be comparable in the best running car the majority of the season, except that wasn't further from the results of the 2018 season. Over the 36-race season, Denny was closer to Eric Jones than Kyle Busch. The fewest top-placing JGR finishes was, as expected, the rushed Daniel Suarez. Daniel's lackluster season produced only 2 finishes in which he was the top JGR car. Then Eric Jones produced a better season, winning a race, making the playoffs. But that Jones boy was only able to be the top JGR finisher 4 total times. So among the remaining 30 races, you'd expect an evenish split between Kyle and Denny. But the results were far from even, as Kyle Busch would be JGR's top car 23 times in the 2018 season, compared to Denny's 7 times being the top JGR car. This showed a drastic underperformance from a 1A, 1B type driver in Denny Hamlin. Also, Kyle never was the top finisher at a plate race. While those 4 races still count, these quote-unquote downforce results left the results like this.
Okay, to this outside lane, 47's pushing a 37. That's going to get him to the 20 possibly. Here it comes. Here comes the outside lane to the 20.
Coming to the tri-oval for the final time, Eric Jones has won.
After Denny was the top JGR driver in the first 2 weeks of the season, he became an afterthought as far as best JGR car, as Denny would only be the best car once the remainder of the 2018 regular season. Also, when removing Talladega and Daytona, Kyle Busch would finish as the best JGR car every single week of the regular season, except for only 4 races.
Straight away for the final time, entering turn 3. A year ago, he ended on a winless streak that had been 36 races. Now, as he comes out onto the front stretch, Kyle Busch is going to win at Pocono again. Caution coming out. Denny Hamlin in the grass. That was coming off of turn 4.
He does have playoff contender.
He does have severe damage to that splitter.
And he stops right in his pit stall.
That car is destroyed.
Another playoff contender, and yes, the front end of that car destroyed. You see Denny Hamlin takes the steering wheel off. He's going to climb out of the car. He knows his day's done.
Entering turn 3 at the top.
A lot like what we saw his teammate. Just came around on corner exit. Right there in the grass. I'm really interested to see. Watch this nose when the splitter digs in right there. Just destroys it. You know, a major advancement, I think, potentially coming to the sport at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They changed that. It's no more grass. Now it's an artificial material where the cars will hopefully...
He has not allowed anyone to get close to him. Final lap from Richmond Raceway. Kyle Busch looking for his 50th career win in the Monster Energy Cup Series. And more importantly, the ticket to the second round. Kyle Busch is going to sweep the Richmond races. Final lap. The 10 making contact with Suarez. The 8 almost goes around, able to save it.
That pass for Bowman over Elliott puts him in. And Almirola passing Suarez will eliminate the 42, I believe, as we have a race for the lead on the right side of the screen.
42 drops below the cutoff line. Now the race for the win on the right side.
I think Jimmy Johnson, big wreck. Almirola made it through. I think Jimmy Johnson has enough points. He can push the issue right here. We have
the inside. Here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Oh!
Blocks the brakes up.
Oh, he's
and he's going to slide. He slides through the middle. Truex gets tagged. Now it'll be a fight for the finish line. Ryan Blaney in the 12.
On top of not being a lead JGR driver, Denny finished his 2018 season without a win, his only winless season of his career. While 2013 was much, much worse of a season overall, he did at least win a race that season. And even though he's yet to win a championship, he is a contender each and every year, except in this 2018 season. He was a first-round elimination, the winless season. After this first-round elimination, Denny would finish his 2018 season and the season points outside the top 10 for the first time since 2007, as Denny would finish the season standings in 11th. While 2017's sour end may have led to the disappointment that was 2018, a positive note was that the playoffs was better for Denny in 2018, as Denny improved back towards being a 1A, 1B guy and returned to championship contender he has been for the last 4 years since his disappointing 2018 season.